Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. So Manchester United travel to Austria tomorrow to take on Lask Linz. It is a 5 to 6 kickoff in the UK. I actually can't remember the name of Lask Linz Stadium, but Manchester United do take them on tomorrow in the last 16 of the Europa League first leg. Of course, we progressed to the last 16 of the competition by beating Club Brugge in the previous round. We beating them 5-0 at Old Trafford, and the first leg, of course, it was 1-1, so it did end 6-1 on aggregate overall. And of course, Lask, they progressed past AZ Alkmaar, to get to the last 16 of the competition. Now, I don't really know much about Lask Linz, to be quite honest with you. The only thing I do know about them, that, they are Austrian. I think they are sitting top of the Austrian league. Are they like 6 points clear at the top of the Austrian league, are Lask. And they are on course to win their first Austrian title since 1965, which is around 55 years ago. And I think, they did get founded, did Lask, in 1908, which is 112 years ago. But I don't know anything about them whatsoever. Now, as you all know, like I updated you on my video I did previously, that this game against Lask tomorrow evening will be played behind closed doors. So that means there will be no spectators in the ground. Obviously, it's due to the coronavirus, and obviously quite a few games have been postponed due to the coronavirus. Around 900 Manchester United fans, I think, have purchased tickets, but of course they will be getting a refund. But the good news is that, the game is still going ahead, but there's going to be no spectators, there, like I currently mentioned. But I do expect Manchester United to win this game against Lask without a shadow of a doubt. And Lask have confirmed this anyway, the game will be played behind closed doors, because they're following the advice from the Austrian government. I just want to tell you something as well. This is the first ever competitive meeting between Manchester United and Lask. So they've never played each other before. It's the first ever competitive meeting, and it's Lask's first encounter with an English team. We have actually never lost to an Austrian team in a European competition, and our record is very, very good in the Europa League. We've only lost one of our last 19 matches, so I just wanted to put that into the equation. But I think Manchester United are emerged as one of the favourites to go on and win the Europa League. We did win it back in 2017 under Jose Mourinho, and the Europa League is a priority for us because it's a chance of us getting some silverware on the board, and plus it's another route to Champions League qualification. Also put into the equation, the FA Cup is a priority for us. The FA Cup's a priority for us because, that's a chance of us getting some silverware on the board. And we have not yet won anything in terms of silverware under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some team news building up to the game. I do believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will make some changes from our 2-0 win against Manchester City last Sunday. And that was a very, very good win against Manchester City. And I did say, didn't I? I just had a feeling that Manchester United were going to win that game against Manchester City. Because like I mentioned, our record against the top 6 sides this season has been absolutely fantastic. We're beaten City. That's the 3rd time this season we've beaten Manchester City. Solskjaer's beaten Pep Guardiola now 3 times as a manager, and it was the first time we did the double over Manchester City in the Premier League for a decade. So last time we did the double over City prior to Sunday was back under the Alex Ferguson era. It was goals from Anthony Martial. It was good to see him get his name on the score sheet. Fernandes had got an assist. That's his 3rd assist now for Manchester United. And of course, Scott McTominay had scored from 40 yards. And that game on Sunday was the 150th Manchester derby. So we've beaten them 3 times out of the 4 matches we've played Manchester City this season. And it was Solskjaer's 50th Premier League game as Manchester United manager. So now he's won 24 and lost 13 and drawn the other 13 in his first 50 games as Manchester United manager. In the Premier League, that is. But it was a very, very good win. And we are now in a good run of form. Like I mentioned, we are unbeaten in our last 10 games in all competitions. During that run, we've won 7 of those. We've drawn 3. and we haven't lost any, and we've kept around 8 clean sheets, and we've scored 24 goals. So we are now in a good vein of form. I think it's our best run of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. And I've got to say, you've got to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently. You know, I do credit Solskjaer when he deserves to be credited. But also, a lot of United fans, including me, have been criticising him this season. But vice versa, same thing. When he deserves to be criticised, I will criticise Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But he tactically did get it right against Manchester City, so I have got to credit him for that. But we are in a good vein of form. Like I said, we haven't only beaten City 3 times this season. We've also beaten Chelsea 3 times this season. In total, Solskjaer's beaten Chelsea 4 times as a manager. Obviously, you know, we drew with Liverpool. He's beaten Tottenham twice as a manager since he came in as Solskjaer. We're beating them earlier on in the season. We're beating PSG. Reflecting on that win against PSG, that obviously, you know, was enough, you know, to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis. So we've done really, really well against elite opposition. I think we've registered like 17 points against elite opposition this season. But hopefully now, you know, we can keep this good run of form up by getting a result against Lask Linz tomorrow evening, 5 to 6 kickoff in the UK. Now, I do actually believe that Bay will start this game against Lask, because Bay didn't start against Manchester City, but he did come off the bench. I also do believe that Odion Ighalo should start this game against Lask. Again, he came off the bench against City. And I also believe that McTominay could start this game against Lask. He also came off the bench against Manchester City. And yeah, so like I mentioned, I think Bay's done really, really well since he's come back. McTominay's done really, really well since he's come back. And I think Odion Ighalo's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Odion Ighalo, you know, has got, 3 goals in 2 starts for Manchester United. You know, Solskjaer recently made an admission saying he actually, could make Odion Ighalo's transfer permanent. But like I mentioned, he's a good cover-up to Marcus Rashford. And he's the vocal point, is Odion Ighalo. I do expect Wan-Bissaka to keep his place in the team. He was absolutely sensational against Manchester City, kept Raheem Sterling quiet all the game. And now we are, not only his defensive contributions good, we're now starting to see the attacking side of Wan-Bissaka's game, so I've got to credit him for that. Wan-Bissaka missed the game against Derby last week when we beaten Derby by 3-0 in the FA Cup. I expect Harry Maguire to be involved in this game against Lask. He'll keep his place in the team. He also missed the game against Derby last week because he was out with an ankle problem, was Harry Maguire. But obviously, his injury, wasn't severe. And probably Daniel James will be involved in the game against Lask because he also missed the game against Derby last week. He'd missed Derby and Everton at Daniel James through injury, but my overarching view on it, I think, Solskjaer's been overplaying Daniel James, a little bit, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But yeah, he will make changes from the 2-0 win against Manchester City. Sergio Romero will be in goal in this game, so David De Gea will be dropped because Sergio Romero tends to play in, the cup games. I do probably presume that Mason Greenwood will definitely be involved. He has started a few games in the Premier League this season as Mason Greenwood, but I think he's very, very good, is Mason Greenwood. And like Solskjaer said, it's a privilege to be a manager of a young squad because we have got a few young players that are in their first seasons in the senior squad. Greenwood, Brandon Williams, I think he's also done really, really well as Brandon Williams. Tuanzebe, he did well. He just come back from injury. I think Fosu Mensah is close to returning. Don't forget they were playing for the reserves the other week. You've got Ghana, I think he's in his first season in the senior squad. So also taking into account, Solskjaer's got an opportunity, to give more of the youngsters their opportunities in this game against Lask. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he approaches the game. Is Solskjaer going to stick with 3 at the back, or is he going to revert back to the 4-2-3-1 formation? Because he has been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation on a regular basis this season, but from my own perception, it doesn't really seem to suit our standards. I think we look more expansive with the 3-5-2 formation. Didn't we go 3 at the back against City the weekend? We won. 3 at the back against Liverpool, we got a draw. I think when we're 3 at the back in one of the games against Partizan Belgrade, so we look very expansive with 3 at the back. But maybe Solskjaer thinks it's beneficial to go with 3 at the back, when you're coming up against an elite opposition. So this is what, Solskjaer, does believe. But definitely on Sunday, tactically nullified Manchester City. Now, we know that Marcus Rashford isn't going to be involved in this game against Lask. because obviously, he could be out for the rest of the season, could Marcus Rashford. Rashford is out with a back injury. Now, there was reports saying that he could be available for the Euros. Rashford has been a big miss for us because before he got injured, he was one of our best players. And up until this point, Rashford has spent the entirety of his career with Manchester United. He's been a United player since the age of 7. He's been in the senior squad with us since 2016. And like I mentioned, since he broke into the senior squad, he's become an integral part of our team. And he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. And I do believe a lot of aspects of his game have definitely improved. But it's a shame that Rashford isn't going to be involved in this game. We know that Lee Grant's a long-term absentee. Lee Grant's barely played anyway since his arrival from Stoke in the summer of 2018. There's a lot of positivity coming out about Paul Pogba. I gave you the news regarding Paul Pogba, didn't I, earlier on? Now, Paul Pogba is set to commit his long-term future with Manchester United because according to a lot of narratives in the mainstream media, Paul Pogba has revealed that he wants to stay at Manchester United and he does want to extend his contract with the football club. I think he's got like a current year left on his current deal at the moment. Well, 2 years because he's an option of a further year. And he's on around 290 grand a week at the moment. So as it stands at the moment, Paul Pogba is one of the highest paid players at Manchester United. Now, if he is to extend his contract with the club, I think, obviously he'll get a huge pay rise. I think he's set to earn in the region of around £400,000 a week. But I think the main explanation why Paul Pogba has decided to stay at Manchester United or wants to stay at Man United is because of Bruno Fernandes, because Paul Pogba is aware of the impacts that Bruno Fernandes has made at Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. 3 goals, 3 assists. He's very instrumental and he's definitely making the difference in the team. So Paul Pogba, from his own perspective, believes that, he'll he believes him and Bruno Fernandes will make a good partnership in our midfield. So in a way, Bruno Fernandes has convinced Paul Pogba to stay at Manchester United. But I'm very, very delighted about this news because it didn't come out not so long ago saying that Paul Pogba had told our teammates, that he wanted to leave Manchester United this summer. And like I mentioned, Pogba's been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation since he rejoined the club from Juventus back in 2016. Obviously, this year he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Last summer he was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Last summer he wanted to go to Real Madrid because he said it was a dream of playing for Real Madrid. It would be a dream playing for Madrid and playing under Zinedine Zidane. Obviously, back under the Jose Mourinho era, he was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, but now he has committed his future. At long last, the long-running transfer saga has come to a conclusion, if he does, of course, extend his contract at Manchester United. Now, also, there's other good news. Paul Pogba could be available for selection for the game tomorrow against Lask. Because obviously, Paul Pogba has been in training this week. He's back in training now, which is very, very good. And Solskjaer did reveal last week that Paul Pogba would return to training this week. Obviously, Paul Pogba's been out with injury for a while. His appearances have been limited this season due to his injuries. He's only played 8 times this season for the football club. The last time he played was Boxing Day. The last time he started the game from the start was back in September, Paul Pogba. But it's good now that he's stepping up his fitness regime and he's close to returning. If he doesn't play against Lask, I can assure he will be available for Sunday against Tottenham. But I did say if Pogba was to leave this summer, he'd either go to Madrid, he'd make a return to Turin because he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus, or he will go to PSG or maybe even Barcelona. Because we said we wanted around 150 million for him. If we were determined to sell him, minimum, we'd want £100 million for Paul Pogba. In total, since he rejoined the club, Pogba has made around 151 appearances, has he, in all competitions and scored around 31 goals. But he's still regarded as one of the best midfielders in the world, is Paul Pogba. So yeah, like I mentioned, that is very, very good news. If Man United fail to qualify for the Champions League, then maybe, you know, we'll be open to listen to offers for Pogba, because maybe if we don't qualify for the Champions League, then maybe he could change his mind. But if we are to qualify for the Champions League, then I think, you know, he probably, you know, will end up staying at the football club, will Paul Pogba. So yeah, could be available for selection against Lask, so I'm very, very delighted about that. Like I mentioned, I think Bruno Fernandes, he will definitely keep his place in the team. You know, he's done very, very well so far as Bruno Fernandes. And it's just since he's come in, you know, it's just since Bruno Fernandes has come in, all of a sudden we look a much better team, because our win ratio has been absolutely superb since his arrival, and it's far superior to, you know, the ratio, you know, we had before he came in. But, you know, we haven't lost a game since we lost 2-0 at home to Burnley. We haven't lost a game, of course. But the good news is now, it's good now that players are coming back from injury for Manchester United. I do believe Luke Shaw definitely will keep his place in the team, or at least will be involved in this game. I expect probably Williams to be involved, but Luke Shaw, like I mentioned, he's done really, really well since he's come back from injury for Manchester United. And like I mentioned, Luke Shaw has received a lot of criticism as a Manchester United fan, from a lot of Manchester United fans. Obviously, you know, reflecting on the amount of injuries he's sustained. Obviously, you know, his poor run of form. He did actually, you know, sustain a lot of injuries when he was at Southampton, did Luke Shaw. But he was out for 2 months, was Luke Shaw. But I think since he's come back, you know, he has really, really done well. Good to see him score last week against Derby. That was only his second goal for the football club's Luke Shaw's. But I've got to say, a lot of aspects of his game have really improved. Martial, he'll be involved in this game because, you know, Martial's done absolutely superb, you know, recently. And like I mentioned, he has sustained quite a few injuries this season as Anthony Martial. Thought he had a good game against Man City, you know, scored. Also could have had more goals because he created some other good chances, did Anthony Martial. And I know I've been critical of Martial this season. A lot of Manchester United fans have been critical of him this season because he had a really, really bad spell, did Anthony Martial. But I've got to say, recently he has rejuvenated himself. You know, do you think we should keep him in the number 9 or we should put him back to the left-hand side? Well, that left-hand side is his predominant position, Anthony Martial's. Prior to this season, his 4 previous seasons, he's been playing on that left-hand side. So put that into the equation. Nemanja Matic, you know, he could also be involved in this game. I know Nemanja Matic now may not get as many starts now that McTominay is back because, you know, Matic is a backup to Fred and McTominay. But I've got to be honest with you, I think, you know, when McTominay was absent, I thought Nemanja Matic did really, really well. He stepped up to the plate. Now, we know he's going to be staying at Manchester United now in the summer. This summer is Nemanja Matic, which is very, very good. Confirmed he has, you know, signed a 2-year deal with the club. Solskjaer did confirm this. I know Matic is a slow player, but on the other hand, since Fernandes has come in, he seems to have made Matic look a lot quicker for some reason. We did pay £40 million for Matic back in 2017 from Chelsea, so I've also been very delighted with him. Fred, I expect him to keep his place in the team, so he should be involved against Lask. Fred has recently rejuvenated himself. Fred did score in the game against Club Brugge in the last round. He scored twice. There was his first 2 goals in like 17 or 18 months in Man United. Of course, we bought Fred in under the Jose Mourinho era. Never really got his opportunity under Jose Mourinho, but since, you know, Solskjaer's come in, he's done really, really well, and he's been getting them, you know, chances that I wanted, that he's been relishing. He's been relishing these chances as Fred. But, you know, he was very, very good in Ukraine. He's not at that level as yet, but, you know, I've got to say he has done really, really well. So he will make some changes, like I mentioned, from the 2-0 win against City. Well, on the other hand, Tottenham is on the horizon, so Solskjaer, you know, could maybe decide to rest a couple of key players, you know, for the Tottenham game. Because, like I mentioned, the league is a priority for us. The league's a priority for us. We're sitting 5th in the Premier League. We are 3 points behind Chelsea. We're only 3 points behind Chelsea, so we can finish in that top 4. 5th place is good enough for us because obviously, you know, Manchester City have been banned from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. It only isn't good enough if Manchester City are obviously, you know, to get this ban overturned from the Champions League. But like I mentioned, we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. But on the other hand, we can still finish in that top 4. But, you know, a lot of teams have been inconsistent in the Premier League this season. But the disappointing thing is that, you know, we've had so many opportunities this season to get into that top four. You know, Chelsea have dropped a lot of points and, you know, we've actually, you know, failed to capitalise. But like I mentioned, it'll be really, it should be a good game against Lask. Their capacity is like 20 odd thousand, isn't it? I can't actually, you know, pronounce the name of their stadium. It's actually, you know, really hard to pronounce. So let me know in the comments below. And the second leg is on the 19th of March at Old Trafford. So I'm very convinced we can progress to the last day of the competition. Arsenal no longer in it. They got locked out by Olympiacos. I do believe that Wolves are still in it. You know, Wolves have done well to, you know, progress to knockout stages of the Europa League. Didn't they knock Espanyol out in the last round? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does approach this game. Now, like I mentioned, the Tottenham game on Sunday. Now, that's a must-win game for Manchester United, and I'm very convinced we can win that game on Sunday against Tottenham. You know, Tottenham are in a bad vein of form, and I do presume that Jose Mourinho is under a lot of pressure now at Tottenham. Like I mentioned, he's past his sell-by date. He's no longer a man. He's not a good enough manager at the top level anymore. Is Mourinho? You can't take anything away from what he's done over the years. He's got a good pedigree behind him. He's won around 25 major honours in his managerial career, but he's past it now as Jose Mourinho, and he's very tactically naive. And Tottenham themselves are to blame because they made a mistake by recommending him in the first place, and they shouldn't have obviously got rid of Mauricio Pochettino. They was just going through a little bad spell earlier on this season when they had Mauricio Pochettino. But disregarding that, Pochettino did really well with Tottenham, even though he didn't win out in terms of silverware. He hasn't won out in terms of silverware as a manager as Pochettino. And Mourinho will be reuniting again with Man United on Sunday. Solskjaer's already beaten him once, so he'll be looking to beat him for the second time, will Solskjaer. But, you know, we had Mourinho for 2.5 years, and he's enjoyed the longest tenure with Man United since the Ferguson era. And it didn't work out for him. He did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. He got a second place in his first season, but he just wasn't. We recommended him in too late. We recommended Jose Mourinho in too late. We should have got Mourinho in after Ferguson left. That's what Manchester United realistically should have done. Realistically should have done in that. But Tottenham have got injuries, you know, they've got Kane out, they've got Human Son out, they've got Sissoko out, and there seems to be nothing without Harry Kane and Human Son. You know, there's been talk saying that Kane's back in training and he's going to participate in the Euros. Obviously, Tottenham did make 2 signs in January under Mourinho, and that was Jedson Fernandez and Steven Bergwijn. They have got some good players in their team, but on the other hand, Tottenham have lost quite a few of their imperative players in recent years. You know, lost Danny Rose, he's on loan to Newcastle. Christian Eriksen, he's served 7 years with Tottenham, now he's in at Milan. You know, they lost Bale in 2013, they lost Luka Modric, so they lost Berbatov, don't forget, many years ago, so they've lost quite a few of their imperative players at Tottenham. And if Jose Mourinho is still Tottenham manager in the summer, it's going to be interesting to see how he approaches it. Tottenham are no longer in the Champions League. They've been knocked out by Leipzig, 3-0, 4-0 on aggregate because it was 1-0 at Tottenham. They're not in the FA Cup. They got knocked out by Norwich. You know, so they can't win out in terms of silverware. The only thing now Tottenham can hope for is finishing in either 4th or 5th. And I'm very sceptical that you know, is going to happen. So I'm very convinced that Man United can beat Tottenham. We're more than capable of beating Tottenham, definitely in that. So yeah, games are coming up thick and fast for Man United anyway. So we will be making a lot of rotation. After Tottenham will be the second leg against Lask. Who is it after Lask? I don't even know. I haven't looked. I haven't delved into it more, but I need to look who we have actually now got after Lask. But like I mentioned, in terms of the transfers and that, I've been keeping up to date with the transfer news recently and that. Don't forget Solskjaer's come out and says, you know, he wants to make around 3 signings this summer because he believes that's how many signings Manchester United do need to become title contenders. I think if we can get the right players in this summer, we can be title contenders going on into next season. We haven't won the league since 2013, which is now 7 years ago. So last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season at the football club. So Solskjaer believes we need around 3 signings to be title contenders, and he's actually come out and revealed that he wants to get our transfer business done as soon as possible rather than waiting until the summer and that, because sometimes when you go for some players it's a long process of getting some players on the board and that. But yeah, there's a few players in our agenda. I think Solskjaer wants to get a centre forward in, he wants to bring a right winger in, and he wants to bring a central midfielder in, because there's still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed in that. Obviously, the players on our agenda, of course, is Jadon Sancho, Jude Bellingham. There's been a lot of speculation recently, regarding Jude Bellingham. Obviously, Jude Bellingham has held talks with Sir Alex Ferguson. Ferguson's obviously tried to persuade him to come to Man United this summer. Obviously, on Monday, it was at our Carrington training ground, was Jude Bellingham, so that fueled speculation. His parents have held negotiations with our executives. I think Jude Bellingham's valued at £30 million. He needs another season in the Championship, does Jude Bellingham, because I just don't think his Premier League standard is yet. And he hasn't got the minerals to come and succeed in the Premier League. This is only his first season in the Championship. He made his senior debut at the age of 16 years and 38 days. So he's the youngest player to ever represent Birmingham is Jude Bellingham. He hasn't yet, by the way, signed his professional contract. He's expected to sign it in the summer. So as it stands at the moment, he's on only £145 a week. He is only at the age of 16 now. But he's played 35 games this season for Birmingham, so he has played regularly. Borussia Dortmund have been emerged as the front runners to get him. Now Liverpool have expressed their interest in Jude Bellingham, but he will eventually move on, even if he doesn't leave Birmingham this summer. So he's one player on our agenda. Jack Grealish, he's another player on our agenda. I give you the news regarding Jack Grealish yesterday. It's come out in the mainstream media saying we're planning a £100 million transfer swoop for Grealish and Jude Bellingham. Grealish will probably cost us around £70 million. It says Man United are determined to pay £70 million for Jack Grealish. If Villa are to get relegated, then he probably won't cost as much as £70 million. But if they were to avoid relegation, then he would cost in the excess of £70 million. Grealish, I think, is expected to make his debut for England this month for the European Championships, reportedly. But I think Grealish has revealed that he does want to leave Aston Villa. Now, we was seeing him as an adequate replacement for Pogba, but now Pogba's staying. But it would still be good to get Grealish on the board, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, up until this point, Grealish has spent the entirety of his career with Aston Villa. He had a loan spell with Notts County. There's no buyout clause inserted. I want to update you on as well. He's got a contract with Villa until 2023. He's predominantly an attacking mid, but he's also occasionally he also can play on the right hand side. So Grealish is one of our priority targets for the summer, and so too is Jadon Sancho. So if we were to get Grealish and Bellingham, they'd cost us around 100 million. If we were to get Sancho as well, put him into the equation, he'd cost at least 100 million. So that'd be around 220 million pounds on 3 players. Don't forget there's been a lot of talks about Harry Kane going on. I'm very sceptical that Harry Kane will come to Manchester United. I don't see that happening, to be quite honest with you. But we will see. I do think players are going to leave Manchester United in the summer. I expect around 4 or 5 players to go. I think definitely Jesse Lingard's going to go. He's initially now lost his place in the team. So too is Pereira following the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. Lingard still believes he's one of the best number 10s, but he's too inconsistent as Lingard, so we need to move him on. We need to move Andres Pereira on. So they're 2 players that need to go. They need to leave Manchester United. Gomez, he's not getting enough chances, is Angel Gomez, so I think we also need to move him on. I think Phil Jones will be moved on because he isn't getting any chances. He's Phil Jones at the club. So he's another player that I think that we could, move on. David De Gea, he could be moved on in the summer. I've already given you the news regarding De Gea. Chong's obviously staying now because, like I updated you, he's now signed a new contract with Manchester United as Chong. He signed a new contract with Man United. And he could be involved against Lask, by the way, could Chong. Which is obviously, very, very good in that. But yeah, so I know a lot of players have left anyway since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Around 9 senior players have left the football club. But more departures are expected to happen this summer. But yeah, we need to see more incomings in the summer, definitely. Solskjaer spent around £220 million since he's come in on 5 players. He's bought 5 players in 2 transfer windows, even though he's enjoyed 3 transfer windows because one of the transfer windows we didn't recruit any players in. You know, we didn't. It was his first transfer when, you know, where we didn't recruit any players in and that. But I think, you know, maybe Solskjaer does deserve time. He's been here over a year now, and he knows if he's to be given another full season at Manchester United, he has got a lot of expectations to exceed, because it is a transition period at the moment. If the club did decide to sack Solskjaer, then I think we'd either recommend Pochettino in or Massimiliano Allegri as his replacement. But, you know, we will see what happens. And, you know, we haven't only had a lot of problems with the management this season. You know, we've had a lot of problems with the club's ownership and Ed Woodward and that. You know, and I don't like the way the football club's been run anyway in the last 6 or 7 years or so. I don't really like that. A lot of money's been invested at Man United. Nearly £1 billion has been spent at this football club. Nearly £1 billion. Also, we've got one of the highest wage bills in the Premier League. Let's put that into the equation. But yeah, so hopefully we can get the right calibre players to Manchester United this summer and that. But yeah, maybe, probably Solskjaer will be given another season at Man United. Some people's verdicts on him don't change, even though we've been in a good run of form. Some people believe he's still not the long-term solution for the club. But the longer he's in the job, Solskjaer, he's going to gain more experience as a manager. But he was very, very good as a player, and you've got to credit him for that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.